And I think that we have gone live. That looks quite promising. If you're tuning in at the moment, then I just remind you of the procedure. If you want to interact with the quiz, which you're very welcome to do, you can do so in the live comments, the live chat on YouTube. If you don't want to use that, you're very welcome to send emails to contact@crookedspire.org or vicar@crookedspire.org. Both of those I will be able to see. And also you can make comments on Facebook and Twitter, which I will respond to when I see them, which won't necessarily be straight away, but that's the way it is. I'm at present busily setting it up so that I can put the links to this on social media. So if you'll bear with me, I will do a little bit of fiddling around. We got into YouTube, and I shall. Must be an easier way of doing this, but I've not yet found it. And here we are. So I will shut up so that I don't get any feedback. Bear with me. And here we are. So I will shut up so that I don't get any feedback. Bear with me. And that's it. So what I need now to do is put that link first of all on Twitter, since Twitter is open here. Log in. What's happening? Now live at excellent. I'll put that on my retweeted on my own Twitter, which is easy. And then do the same on Facebook. So, come on Facebook. Slow, slow, slow. Create post. Quiz night. Now live at. Oh look, there's a horrible picture of me. Post that. And I'll now share it on my own Facebook. And log out. Put that back there and check the mail. Oh, we've got the Barons online. Good to see you there. I've checked that on mail. Checked on the live chat. We've got Colin and Suzanne. We've got Rowena. We've got the Panther Packards. We've got Daniel and Adam. We've got Audrey. And we look like we've got 13 viewers so far. We have an excellent connection. It's peculiar because I'm looking at the live stream on that screen there, and in front of me is the streaming software which I've used to improve the standard of the stream rather than using YouTube's own stuff. And what I can see on the live stream has a slight delay to it. So I'm going to arrange it so that I can see the viewers without seeing me. That's it. Current viewers 18. We've got the Waltons. Welcome the Waltons. Whether it's good news or bad news for you, the lockdown was going to be a full 4 weeks, and it seems that it's going to be a day shorter than expected. So next Wednesday we will not be in lockdown and there will not be a quiz. And I hope, like me, that you're all praying that we won't have any more lockdowns at all. So this will be the last lockdown quiz of all. Quiz number 14 will, I hope, be live. We'll be able to have a live quiz in the parish centre instead. That would be great fun. So we have almost all the balls are in play, and we've also got the Wilkinsons. Excellent. Lots of people who did well last week. We've got 20 concurrent views at the moment. What fun. Linda Wilkinson typed I. Okay, that's fine. I have 2 eyes. We'll wait and see what Linda actually wanted to type. So easy on these things to type something and press return and then it gets sent when you didn't mean it to be sent. We will miss the quiz. Oh dear. Well, we'll just have to have a live one when we can all meet together in real life. That'd be even more fun. Helen Phipps is here. Welcome, Helen. We're now on to 21 concurrent viewers. Can I have some feedback, please, on the quality, both of the picture and the sound? Looks okay to me. I've checked it on Facebook and Twitter, and it looks nice. If I I've checked it using the web browser on the other screen. It looks okay. So I'm hoping that's okay. John Gascoigne, we've got John Gascoigne with lots of emoticons. Have you been taking lessons in emoticons, John? We've got very good and clear, excellent, good. That's pleasing. We've got a minute to go before past. Great sound and screen quality. Linda, are you watching it on the television? We'll see. Where am I with the mail? Let me see. The Ted and Judy Stevens are here. Welcome to the both of you. That's better. That's much better. We've got 24 concurrent viewers at the moment. No, you're not watching it on television. Oh, Andrew Peppet, welcome. Andrew, how did you do on the jazz round last week, or did you miss it? Andrew will do much better on the Monty Python round. So who else have we got? We're getting plenty of comments in. We've got the Barons, picture and sound good, thank you. John Gascoigne, good lighting. Yes, it's a good light. Excellent picture and sound from the Stevenses. Thank you very much for your feedback. This is a wonderful light which I got in B&Q, which if you switch it on, first of all gives you a nice mellow light which isn't too bright, but if you switch it off and then switch it on again, you get this lovely bright light which is really... Gwen and Tony are here, no problems logging in today. You get this bright light which is ideal for this, for a clear thing, although it's headache worthy if you try working in it. Okay, we are coming up to 2 minutes over, and in a minute I am going to start. In a minute I will start. In fact, I think I will start now. So, with the thing that has been much of the news this week, I'm going to start with vaccines. And we've got Kathy and Joe and Chloe, excellent. We've got Dominic, oh, very good. Okay, I think we've got lots of highs, and I'm now going definitely to start with vaccines. Question 1. Which firm is working with the University of Oxford to produce a COVID-19 vaccine? Which firm is working with the University of Oxford to produce a COVID-19 vaccine? I give a welcome to the Freemans. Good to see you. We're now 27 online, 25 online. God knows what's going on there. Which firm is working with the University of Oxford to produce a COVID-19 vaccine? Question 2. Who developed the first vaccine? Who developed the first vaccine? Interestingly, he left off his development work until somebody else took it on commercially, and then he returned to it. Who developed the first vaccine? Question 3. Which system of the human body is stimulated by vaccines? Which system of the human body is stimulated by vaccines? Which system is stimulated by vaccines? Question 4. What disease gave rise to the word vaccine? What disease gave rise to the word vaccine? An interesting one. What disease gave rise to the word vaccine? Question 5. Does a vaccine exist for malaria? Does a vaccine exist for malaria? Is there a malaria vaccine? Question 6. Which common travel vaccination is often given orally in live form and requires careful personal hygiene following its administration? The key words here being careful personal hygiene, which may give you a clue. Which common travel vaccination is often given orally in live form and requires careful personal hygiene following its administration? Question 7. Which combined vaccine given to children and young people has caused controversy in some parts of the world? Which combined vaccine given to children and young people has caused controversy in some parts of the world? There are some parts of the world where significant numbers of people refuse to allow their children to have it. What is it? Question 8. What phenomenon occurs when the majority of a population has been successfully vaccinated? What phenomenon occurs when the majority of a population has been successfully vaccinated? Lots of talk of this at the beginning of the coronavirus business. What phenomenon occurs when the majority of a population has been successfully vaccinated? Question 9. According to the World Health Organization, for how many preventable infections are there licensed vaccines available? According to the World Health Organization, for how many preventable infections are there licensed vaccines available? And question 10. What is the main disease for which dogs receive inoculations? What is the main disease for which dogs receive inoculations? What do my dogs have to be vaccinated against? I'll go back over that. Which firm is working with the University of Oxford to produce a COVID-19 vaccine? Who developed the first vaccine? Which system of the human body is stimulated by vaccines? What disease gave rise to the word vaccine? Does a vaccine exist for malaria? Which common travel vaccination is often given orally in live form and requires careful personal hygiene following its administration? Which combined vaccine given to children and young people has caused controversy in some parts of the world? What phenomenon occurs when the majority of a population has been successfully vaccinated? For how many preventable infections, according to the World Health Organization, are there licensed vaccines available? And what is the main disease for which dogs receive inoculations? So we'll move on then to round 2, which is tunnels. And first of all, an easy question. If you're unlucky, what might the light at the end of the tunnel actually be? If you're unlucky, what might the light at the end of the tunnel actually be? Question 2. Which abandoned tunnel in Chesterfield runs parallel to Rother Way? Which abandoned tunnel in Chesterfield runs parallel to Rother Way? Sorry about the non-Chesterfield people with a little bit of local knowledge, but question 3. Where were the tunnelling shields built that were used in the sinking of the Channel Tunnel? Where were the tunnelling shields built that were used in the sinking of the Channel Tunnel? Question 4. What is the longest railway tunnel in the world? What is the longest railway tunnel in the world? Relatively, well, very new tunnel, only opened in 2016. Question 5. How long is the LEP tunnel now being used for the Large Hadron Collider? How long is the LEP tunnel now used for the Large Hadron Collider? Question 6. In what country is the longest road tunnel in the world? I'm not asking what it is, how long it is, but what country it's in. In what country is the longest road tunnel in the world? Question 7. What method is used to build shallow tunnels such as the earliest underground railways? What method is used to build shallow tunnels such as the earliest underground railways? Question 8. What machinery did Brunel use in the construction of Box Tunnel in 1840? Was actually for a period of time the longest tunnel, but I want to know what machinery Brunel used in its construction. If you've some years ago watched the Great British Engineers and Jeremy Clarkson's representation for Brunel, you will know the answer to this. Box Tunnel figured quite large in that. It is a magnificent construction, and I want to know what machinery Brunel used in its construction. Question 9. In what year was the first underground railway tunnel opened between Paddington and Farringdon? In what year was the first underground railway tunnel opened between Paddington and Farringdon? And question 10. What venomous creature lives in a tunnel with a trapdoor at its entrance? What venomous creature lives in a tunnel with a trapdoor at its entrance? I'll go back over that. If you're unlucky, what might the light at the end of the tunnel actually be? Which abandoned tunnel in Chesterfield runs parallel to Rotherway? Where were the tunnelling shields built that were used in the sinking of the Channel Tunnel? What is the longest railway tunnel in the world? How long is the LEP tunnel, which is now used for the Large Hadron Collider? In what country is the longest road tunnel in the world? What method is used to build shallow tunnels such as the earliest underground railways? What machinery did Brunel use in the construction of Box Tunnel in 1840? In what year was the first underground railway tunnel opened between Paddington and Farringdon? And question 10. What venomous creature lives in a tunnel with a trap door at its entrance? So we'll move on then to round 3, which is the Pink Panther. Question 1. Who played Inspector Clouseau? Who played Inspector Clouseau? One of the greatest comedy actors of all time. Who played Inspector Clouseau? Question 2. Which Bach organ piece was Dreyfus playing as he threatened the world in the Pink Panther Strikes Again? Which Bach organ piece was Dreyfus playing as he threatened the world in the Pink Panther Strikes Again? Question 3. Who wrote the Pink Panther title music? Who wrote the Pink Panther title music? Question 4. In which famous festival did the assassins of the world all but 2 meet their death while trying to kill Clouseau? In which famous festival did the assassins of the world, all but 2 of them, meet their death while trying to kill Clouseau? Question 5. David Niven's character Sir Charles Lytton in The Pink Panther doubles as a diamond thief called what? David Niven's character Sir Charles Lytton in The Pink Panther doubles as a diamond thief called what? Question 6. Who supplies Clouseau's disguises? Who supplies Clouseau's disguises? Question 7. What is Clouseau's manservant called? What is Clouseau's manservant called? Question 8. This is an interesting one. Which Pink Panther series actor wrote in real life an historical novel on the playwright Christopher Marlowe? Which Pink Panther series actor wrote in real life an historical novel on the playwright Christopher Marlowe? Question 9. In what city is the final chase scene in Revenge of the Pink Panther? In what city is the final chase scene in Revenge of the Pink Panther? And question 10. Who actually voiced the drag singer Ainsley Jarvis in The Pink Panther Strikes Again? Who sang the songs? Who actually voiced the drag singer Ainsley Jarvis in The Pink Panther Strikes again. I'll go back over that. Who played Inspector Clouseau? Which Bach organ piece was Dreyfus playing as he threatened the world in The Pink Panther Strikes Again? Who wrote the Pink Panther title music? In which famous festival did the assassins of the world, all but two of them, meet their death while trying to kill Clouseau? The assassins who weren't killed in that process, by the way, were the Egyptian one, played by Omar Sharif, and the very glamorous Russian one. David Niven's character Sir Charles Lytton in The Pink Panther doubles as a diamond thief called what? Who supplies Clouseau's disguises? What is Clouseau's manservant called? Which Pink Panther series actor wrote in real life an historical novel on the playwright Christopher Marlowe? In what city is the final chase scene in The Revenge of the Pink Panther? And who actually voiced the drag singer Ainsley Jarvis in The Pink Panther Strikes Again? So the next two rounds are for two substances which, on my experience of travelling on the number 10, lately the number 1 bus towards Newbold, which I don't have to travel on any longer, some members of the population of Chesterfield need a reintroduction to: soap and water. So round 4 is soap, and the first question: what generic name is given to the substances in soap which aid in detaching dirt and grease from surfaces? Clue there in the question. What generic name is given to the substances in soap which aid in detaching dirt and grease from surfaces? Question 2. Which sort of soap smells of creosote? Which sort of soap smells of creosote? Question 3. What is the world's longest running radio soap opera? What is the world's longest running radio soap opera? Question 4, and there's a big clue in the question here. Which German soap powder, made from sodium perborate and sodium silicate, was first marketed in Germany in 1907? Which German soap powder, made from sodium perborate and sodium silicate, was first marketed in Germany in 1907? Question 5. Which British firm created Lifebuoy soap and produced it in Port Sunlight? Which British firm created Lifebuoy soap? Question 6. Clue in the question here as well. What soap made from palm and olive oils was always used in British Railways lavatories? What soap made from palm and olive oils was always used in British Railways lavatories? Always a distinctive smell in old-fashioned railway lavatories, and it came from this soap. Question 7. What substance derived from suet is often used in traditional soap making? What substance derived from suet is often used in traditional soap making? Question 8, different sort of question. If you flannel someone, What sort of soap are you said to be giving them? If you flannel someone, what sort of soap are you said to be giving them? Question 9, a different sort of question again. Which Bishop of Oxford was known as Soapy Sam? Which Bishop of Oxford was known as Soapy Sam? A friend of mine wouldn't believe this over the phone today. Which Bishop of Oxford was known as Soapy Sam? And question 10, the government recommends regular hand washing with soap and water. For how long? The government recommends regular hand washing with soap and water. For how long? Okay, I'll go back over those. What generic name is given to the substances in soap which aid in detaching dirt and grease from surfaces? Which sort of soap smells of creosote? What is the world's longest running radio soap opera? Which German soap powder made from sodium perborate and sodium silicate was first marketed in Germany in 1907? Which British firm created Lifebuoy soap? What soap made from palm and olive oils was always used in British Railways lavatories? What substance derived from suet is often used in traditional soap making? If you flannel someone, what sort of soap are you said to be giving them? Which Bishop of Oxford was known as Soapy Sam? And the last question in that round, the government recommends regular hand washing with soap and water for how long? So that's the end of round 4. We'll move on to round 5, which is water. Question 1 being, what is the chemical composition of water? What is the chemical composition of water? Question 2, what proportion of the human body is made up of water? I'd like this in a percentage, please, and there is a wide margin of error. What proportion of the human body is made up of water? Question 3, an interesting question, and if you don't get the answer to this, you will kick yourself when you hear it. What colour is pure water? What colour is pure water? Water comes in all sorts of colours because of the types of imperfections and pollutions and other things that get added to it. What colour is pure water? Question 4. What shape is the normal form of a water ice crystal? By normal, I mean at normal freezing point and in normal atmospheric conditions. What shape is the normal form of a water ice crystal? Question 5. What can you do to cause water to boil at room temperature? What can you do to cause water to boil at room temperature? Question 6. What form of locomotion depends on the heating of water? What form of locomotion depends on the heating of water? Question 7. In ancient medicine, which of the 4 bodily humours was water associated with? In ancient medicine, which of the 4 bodily humours was water associated with? Question 8. What fuel produces water as an exhaust? What fuel produces water as an exhaust? I should say water and only water. Question 9. What is the average salt content of seawater? What is the average salt, as in sodium chloride content of seawater? And question 10. In degrees Fahrenheit, what is the melting point of ice at normal atmospheric pressure? In degrees Fahrenheit, what is the melting point of ice at normal atmospheric pressure? So I'll go back over those 10 questions and then we'll take a break. Question 1. What is the chemical composition of water? What proportion of the human body is made up of water? What colour is pure water? What shape is the normal form of what fuel produces water as an exhaust? What is the average salt content of seawater? And in degrees Fahrenheit, what is the melting point of ice at normal pressure? So, we've had 50 questions so far. If you want any of the questions repeated, then please do so via the live chat or via email, and I will do my best to answer, although last week questions asked on live chat tended to get answered by other participants, which is fine by me. I'm now going to go and make myself a cup of tea. If you need to get yourself whatever you're drinking, make yourself comfortable, whatever you need to do at this point, and we will come back shortly after 8:05. I'll see you soon. Dominic's asking why there are only 5 topics. Well, we've just taken a break, as we have every time. And we take a break and then we have 5 more, and then we take a break and then we have the answers. And all the topics are in the blurb underneath the live stream, which I hope is appearing. Dominic got confused. Oh dear, you were in school too long today. Well, we're coming up to 8:05. And I think we'll make a move and crack on. Round 6 is Christmas and New Year food. I met a parishioner in the supermarket today, and she told me she was not looking forward to the idea of buying stuff for Christmas this year. So I don't know. I have just had a speculatius biscuit. Hello, Millie. Hello, Millie. Oh, we've got Millie's come to join us. I've just had a speculatius biscuit, which is of course an Advent and Christmas biscuit in Germany. Right, can I repeat question 7 of water? I'll do that before we move on, save anybody's confusion. Question 7 of water was, in ancient medicine, which of the 4 bodily humours was water associated with? And if you'd studied GCSE history with me, you would have learned that among many other things. Interesting. Anyway, let's go on to Christmas and New Year food. Question 1. What item was traditionally made last Sunday? What item was traditionally made last Sunday? What item was traditionally made last Sunday? Question 2. In which country are lentils consumed for good luck at New Year? In which country are lentils consumed for good luck at New Year? Usually with some form of sausages, including things like stuffed pig's trotter. In which country are lentils consumed for good luck at New Year? Question 3. What is a Yorkshire pot? Very simple question, very Yorkshire question. What is a Yorkshire pot? What is a Yorkshire pot? Question 4. What Christmas staple food should you not consume in excess if you are taking warfarin? What staple Christmas food should you not consume in excess if you are taking warfarin? If you're taking warfarin to thin your blood, this could cause you heart and circulation problems. If you ate it to excess, what is it? Question 5. What will you find at the heart of a Stollen? What will you find at the heart of a Stollen? Question 6. In which country might you find a casserole of Swede turnips on the Christmas table? In which country might you find a casserole of Swede turnips on the Christmas table? I take my hat off to them for that. The Swede is a very underrated vegetable indeed. I despair of being able to find a Cornish pasty which has enough Swede in it. Ginsters have started producing a premium Cornish pasty which has excellent quality of meat in it, but still not enough Swede. In which country might you find a casserole of Swede turnips on the Christmas table? Question 7. Where is a Christmas meal traditionally cooked in South Africa? Where do South Africans traditionally cook their Christmas meal? Bear in mind, this is not Australia, it is not necessarily the beach. There's plenty of South Africa which is an awful long way away from beaches. Where is a Christmas meal traditionally cooked in South Africa? Question 8. In which maritime nation does cod take pride of place at Christmas? Interesting. In which maritime nation does cod take pride of place at Christmas? Question 9. What is traditionally drunk with pan forte? What is traditionally drunk with pan forte? Pan forte being that very hard almond and honey bread which is eaten in Italy at Christmas time. It's a speciality of Siena, as is indeed this thing which is drunk with it. You go to a Sienese bar and you have several varieties of pan forte with several varieties of this particular beverage to drink with it. What is it? Question 10. What is a Christmas damper? What is a Christmas damper? No, until I researched this, I didn't know that either. What is a Christmas damper? So I'll go back over that. What item was traditionally made last Sunday? In which country are lentils consumed for good luck at New Year? What is a Yorkshire pot? What Christmas staple food should you not consume in excess if you are taking warfarin? What will you find at the heart of a Stollen? In which country might you find a casserole of Swede turnips on the Christmas table? Where is a Christmas meal traditionally cooked in South Africa? In which maritime nation does cod take pride of place at Christmas? What is traditionally drunk with pan forte? And what is a Christmas damper? Okay, we'll move on then to round 7, which is fruitful trees and all cedars. Question 1. Which psalm contains the phrase fruitful trees and all cedars? Which psalm contains the phrase fruitful trees and all cedars? Question 2. What is a bartlet? What is a bartlet? Question 3. How fast does Lelandii grow? How fast does Lelandii grow? And I won't accept too fast as an answer. How fast does Lelandii grow? Question 4. What is the most widely grown cider apple tree? What is the most widely grown cider apple tree? Question 5. What distinction does the coast redwood tree enjoy? What distinction does the coast redwood tree enjoy? The coast redwood tree. Question 6. How old at least is the Llangernyw yew? I'll spell Llangernyw for you if you like. It's Llangernyw, and yew is as in the tree, Y-E-W. How old at least is the Llangernyw yew? Question 7. What happens to alder wood when waterlogged? What happens to alder wood when waterlogged? Question 8. Which nation's cedar trees get several mentions in the Bible? Which nation's cedar trees get several mentions in the Bible? Question 9. And again, I won't accept the answer too much for this. Excuse me. It's having trouble. It's focused on me now. It was losing focus. How much does a 5 to 6 foot Nordman fir Christmas tree cost at John Lewis? How much does a 5 to 6 foot Nordman Christmas tree cost at John Lewis? And again, I won't accept the answer too much for that. And question 10. Which tree or bush produces cobnuts? Which tree or bush produces cobnuts? I'll go back over that. Which psalm contains the phrase fruitful trees and all cedars? What is a bartlet? How fast does Lelandii grow? What is the most widely grown cider apple tree? What distinction does the coast redwood tree enjoy? How old at least is the Llangernyw yew? What happens to alder wood when waterlogged? Which nation's cedar trees get several mentions in the Bible? How much does a 5 to 6 foot Nordman fir Christmas tree cost at John Lewis? And which tree or bush produces cobnuts? So that's fruitful trees and all cedars, and the next one is hits. We'll see how much you have listened to your popular music. Question 1. Which presenter took Pick of the Pops from the Light programme onto Radio 1? Which presenter took Pick of the Pops from the Light programme onto Radio 1? And he stayed with it from time to time all the way through to his death. Which presenter took Pick of the Pops from the Light programme onto Radio 1? Question 2. Who presents it today on Radio 2? Pick of the Pops, that is. Who presents Pick of the Pops today on Radio 2? Question 3. Who had the Christmas number 1 in 1971 with Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West? Who had the Christmas number 1 in 1971 with Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West? Shame on you if you don't know that one. Question 4. What was last year's Christmas number 1? What was last year's Christmas number 1? Question 5. With a total of 18 weeks at number 1, what was Frankie Lane's 1953 record chart-topping record called? With 18 weeks total at number 1, what was Frankie Lane's 1953 record chart-topping record called? Question 6. What album is at present at the top of the albums chart? What album is at present at the top of the albums chart? For the sake of clarity, when I mention charts, these are all UK charts. Question 7. With 16 consecutive weeks at number 1, what was the all-time longest continuous stay in that position? With 16 consecutive weeks at number 1, what was the all-time longest continuous stay in that position? Question 8. How many Christmas number 1s has Cliff Richard had? How many Christmas number 1s has Cliff Richard had? Question 9. How many weeks in total did Elvis Presley spend at the top of the UK singles chart? How many weeks in total did Elvis Presley spend at the top of the UK singles chart? And question 10. What was the fastest selling single in chart history? What was the fastest selling single in chart history? So I'll go back over that round. Which presenter took Pick of the Pops from the Light programme onto Radio 1? Who presents Pick of the Pops today on Radio 2? Who had the Christmas number 1 in 1971 with Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West? What was last year's Christmas number 1? With 18 weeks total at number 1, what was Frankie Lane's 1953 record chart-topping record called? What album is at present at the top of the album chart? With 16 consecutive weeks at number 1, what was the all-time longest continuous stay in that position? How many Christmas number 1s has Cliff Richard had? How many weeks in total did Elvis Presley spend at the top of the UK singles chart? And what was the fastest selling single in chart history? So we move on then to round 9 for something completely different, Monty Python. Question 1. Which government ministry was inaugurated by Monty Python in 1970? Which government ministry was inaugurated by Monty Python in 1970? Question 2. What is Monty Python's full name? What is Monty Python's full name? Question 3. Who was the It's man? Who was the It's man? Question 4. Are the pepper pots male or female? Are the pepper pots male or female? Underlines how potty Monty Python really still is. Are the pepper pots male or female? What group of people bursts in the scene on the cue? Nobody expects that. What group of people bursts in on the cue? Nobody expects the... Question 6. What is Spiny Norman's catchword? What is Spiny Norman's catchword? Question 7. Name the Sousa march used as the programme theme. Name the Sousa march used as the programme theme. And here's an earworm for you. Which Python wrote Always Look on the Bright Side of Life? Which Python wrote Always Look on the Bright Side of Life? Question 9. Whose personal address and phone number were included in some of the sketches in the first series? Whose personal address and phone number were included in some of the sketches in the first series? BBC actually had to go and back edit it to get these details out. Whose personal address and phone number were included in some of the sketches in the first series? And question 10. In which year was the Aberystwyth ban on Life of Brian lifted? In which year was the Aberystwyth ban on Life of Brian lifted? That one will surprise you. I actually thought of asking a rude question on Life of Brian there, but then I thought anybody can be watching this. We've already had somebody on the live chat who thought this was a religious programme. There we are. Okay, we'll go back over this. Number 1, which government ministry was inaugurated by Monty Python in 1970? What is Monty Python's full name? Who was the It's man? Are the pepper pots male or female? What group of people bursts in on the cue? Nobody expects the... What is Spiny Norman's catchword? Name the Sousa March used as the programme theme. Which Python wrote Always Look on the Bright Side of Life? Whose personal address and phone number were included in some of the sketches in the first series? And in which year was the Aberystwyth ban on Life of Brian lifted? So we're on to the last round of the last quiz of this, let's hope, last lockdown. I will finish my tea and breathe for a moment and then embark on the last round. Okay, we're on to question 1. Which wedding anniversary did Her Majesty the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh celebrate last week? Amazing number too. Which wedding anniversary did Her Majesty the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh celebrate last week? Question 2. Where did the present Bishop of Derby serve before being appointed to Derby? Where did the present Bishop of Derby serve before being appointed to Derby? Question 3. Whose creation was the Great Western Railway? Whose creation was the Great Western Railway? Question 4. In which year was the present Vicar of Chesterfield ordained a priest? In which year was the present Vicar of Chesterfield ordained a priest? Question 5. What is a record player stylus usually made from? What is a record player stylus usually made from? Question 6. What is the predicted National Lottery jackpot for this evening? What is the predicted National Lottery jackpot for this evening? Question 7. What colour has Donald Trump's hair rapidly become? What colour has Donald Trump's hair rapidly become? Question 8. In the Steel City Derby, has Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United won more games? In the Steel City Derby, has Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United won more games? Question 9. What is the home of the Irish national rugby team? What is the home of the Irish national rugby team? And question 10. Very interesting question. Where is there a school whose students pay for lessons with plastic waste? Where is there a school whose students pay for lessons with plastic waste? There's an interesting one for you. Where is there a school whose students pay for lessons with plastic waste? Well, that's the whole of the quiz, all 100 questions asked. I'm now going to get myself something a little stronger just to clear the throat, and I'm sure that you will want to take a comfort break or get yourself something to drink or whatever you plan to do. I think we'll come back at 20 to 9. Don't forget, either via the email or the live chat, if you've missed a question or if you want me to repeat something, please ask. If you can do that while I'm out, then we can get straight back in on time with giving the answers. Okay, and there's a chance for you to argue about the answers as well if you've got nothing better to do in the next 5 minutes, or make comments or whatever you want to do, and I'll be back very, very soon. I've decided, since the bourbon has helped me sleep, I go back to the Trader Joe's Kentucky bourbon, which I hope you can see on the screen there. A present from my kind friends in the US. If I show it to the camera, it's probably better if I show it to the camera rather than the screen, isn't it? So that's what I have in my glass. Put that in the background. Looks very decorative there. Hello Jack, you checked in at round 6, good to see you. So we've got a minute or so to go before 22. Please, if you've got any questions you want me to repeat, let me know. And cheers to all of you. And here's to the lifting of lockdown, and perhaps to the not needing a lockdown again for many, many years. It's not as mellow as the other one, but it's clears the throat and the sinuses. Oh. Right. We're on 20 to 9. And so, the final countdown. I ought to be putting music on in the background. Da, 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 do, 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 do. But I won't. Okay, round 1, vaccines. The firm working with the University of Oxford to produce a COVID-19 vaccine is AstraZeneca. The first vaccine was developed by Edward Jenner. The system of the human body stimulated by vaccines is the immune system. The disease which gave rise to the word vaccine is cowpox, because the Latin name for cowpox includes the Latin root for a cow, which is vacca, and it was the word vaccine was named in honour of the fact that the first smallpox vaccine was made from cowpox. Does a vaccine exist? All right, you'll lose your point for that. Don't argue. Referee 10 yards back. Does a vaccine exist for malaria? No, because malaria is caused by a parasite. The common travel vaccination, often given orally in live form, and which requires careful personal hygiene, is the typhoid vaccination. Since it's live and since it is excreted, you have to be very careful not to get any of it into your mouth, otherwise you can actually reinfect yourself. When a live vaccine is given, it's in a very debilitated form, but that doesn't mean that it remains debilitated. So the doctor tells you very carefully you must pay attention to your personal hygiene. The combined vaccine is MMR. The phenomenon which occurs when the majority of a population has been successfully vaccinated is herd immunity. And there are 25 preventable infections for which there are licensed vaccines available according to the WHO. And the main disease for which dogs receive inoculations is parvovirus. Parvovirus. Okay, round 2. Tunnels. If you're unlucky, the light at the end of the tunnel might be an oncoming train. If you're unlucky, the light at the end of the tunnel might be an oncoming train. The abandoned tunnel in Chesterfield, which runs parallel to Rother Way, is the Chesterfield Tunnel on the Central Railway going into the Central Station. And if you walk down to the way I walk home, you can see the end of it. Which abandoned tunnel runs parallel to Rother Way? It is the Chesterfield Tunnel. The tunnelling shields that were used in the sinking of the Channel Tunnel were made in Chesterfield at Markham and Company. The longest railway tunnel in the world is the Gotthard Base Tunnel, opened in 2016. It is 57.09 kilometres, or 35.5 miles long. The LEP tunnel, which is now used for the Large Hadron Collider and goes all the way underneath Geneva and halfway through southern France, is 26.6 kilometres or 16.6 miles long. The longest road tunnel in the world is in Norway. It's the Lærdal Tunnel, which is 24.5 or 15.2 miles long. The method used to build shallow tunnels, such as the earliest underground tunnels, is cut and cover. Brunel used no machinery at all in the construction of the box tunnel. It was all dug by hand in 1840. The first underground railway tunnel between Paddington and Farringdon was opened in 1863. And the venomous creature living in a tunnel with a trapdoor at its entrance is a spider, various types of spider, either making their tunnels in the ground or creating tunnels with webbing with their webs. So we move on to round 3, which is the Pink Panther. Peter Sellers played Inspector Clouseau. The Bach organ piece, played by Dreyfus as he threatened the world, was the G minor prelude, BWV 542, one of my party pieces. The Pink Panther title music was written by Henry Mancini. The famous festival where all but 2 of the assassins of the world met their death while they were trying to kill Clouseau was the Munich Oktoberfest. David Niven's character, Sir Charles Lytton, was otherwise known as the Phantom. Clouseau's disguises are supplied by the Balls brothers. Clouseau's manservant is called Cato, whose job is to try and attack Clouseau when he gets home. The Pink Panther series actor, who in real life wrote an historical novel on Christopher Marlowe, is Herbert Lom, or was Herbert Lom. He died not so long ago. The final chase scene in Revenge of the Pink Panther takes place in Hong Kong. And the voicing for the drag singer Ainsley Jarvis in The Pink Panther Strikes Again is by Julie Andrews. So that's the Pink Panther round. Round 4 is soap. The generic name given to the substances in soap which help to detach dirt and grease from surfaces is surfactants. Surfactants. Coal tar soap smells of creosote. The world's longest running radio soap opera is The Archers. The soap powder made from sodium perborate and sodium silicate is Persil. I can hear the groan now. I hope you're kicking yourself, because I did try and emphasise that if you didn't get it. Lifebuoy soap was created by the Lever brothers. The soap used in British Railways lavatories made from palm and olive oils is palm olive. The suet-derived substance used in traditional soap making is tallow. If you flannel somebody, you are giving them soft soap. The Bishop of Oxford, known as Soapy Sam, was the 19th century Samuel Wilberforce, known principally for 2 things. First of all, for his opposition to slavery, and also for his opposition to Charles Darwin. And finally, regular hand washing with soap and water is recommended for 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Round 5 is water. The chemical composition of water is H2O. The proportion of the human body made up of water is somewhere between 45 and 65%. Well, I will accept any figure between those two. And if you've actually said somewhere between those two, you can have 2 marks. The colour of pure water is very slightly blue. Very slightly blue. The shape of the normal form of a water ice crystal is of a perfect hexagon. Ice forms in symmetrical hexagonal shapes. If you want water to boil at room temperature, all you need to do is create a perfect vacuum and it will boil for you. The greater the pressure, the higher the boiling point. So if you go up a mountain, it takes a lot longer to cook things. The form of locomotion which depends on the heating of water is the steam engine. In ancient medicine, the bodily humour associated with water was phlegm. Phlegm, the moist humour. The fuel which produces just water, or so we're told, as an exhaust is hydrogen. The average salt content of seawater is 3.5%. And at normal pressure, the melting point of ice is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And since the question said in Fahrenheit, I won't accept any other system. Okay, that's the first 5 rounds, all the answers. Round 6 is Christmas and New Year food. Last Sunday it was Christmas pudding, which was traditionally made on Stir-Up Sunday. Question 2. Lentils are consumed for good luck at New Year in Italy, together with a thing called a zampone, which is minced beef and pork and various other very tasty and interesting parts of animals stuffed into a pig's trotter. Yorkshire pot is a variety of different sized birds boned and stuffed into each other and then all laced up. And it was made notorious in recent years on the television by James Martin. So that's what a Yorkshire pot is, a variety of birds boned and stuffed into each other, then laced up. The Christmas staple food which you shouldn't consume in excess if you're taking warfarin is Brussels sprouts. Some people don't like to consume Brussels sprouts in excess or even at all. At the heart of a Stollen, you will find marzipan. On the Christmas table in Finland, you would find a casserole of Swede turnips. A Christmas meal is traditionally cooked in South Africa on the braai, or I will accept barbecue, but they call it a braai. The maritime nation where cod takes pride of place at Christmas is Portugal. The drink traditionally drunk with pan forte is vin santo, which is a slightly fortified white wine. And a Christmas damper is an Australian soda bread which originated in the bush and which is served at Christmas with syrup or honey or various other things. Round 7, fruitful trees and all cedars. The phrase fruitful trees and all cedars, like all the other phrases in this series of quizzes in round 7, comes from Psalm 148. A Bartlett is a type of pear. You won't find them in supermarkets unless you go to the tinned fruit aisle. And those of us who were brought up on tinned fruit may have seen Bartlett pears, just like cling peaches. I don't know today because I don't eat tinned pears anymore, but tinned pears always seem to be Bartlett pears. Don't know whether anybody has tinned pears today and can give us the information on that. Lelandii tends to grow between 75 and 90 centimetres a year. The fastest growing ordinary trees grow at about 60 centimetres a year, but Leylandii grows at 75 to 90 centimetres a year. The most widely grown cider apple tree is the dabinet. The dabinet. The coast redwood tree is the world's tallest growing tree, at least according to reliable measurements, so I gather. It's the world's tallest growing tree. The Llangernyw yew is at least 4,000 years old, and it comes from North Wales. It's at least 4,000 years old. Most wood starts to rot and soften when it gets waterlogged, but alder wood gets harder, because alder is a marshland tree. Alder wood gets harder if it's waterlogged. The nation whose cedar trees get several mentions in the Bible is Lebanon, the Cedars of Libanos. A 5 to 6 foot Nordman fir Christmas tree costs, believe it or not, at John Lewis £75. £75. I'll repeat that. It costs £75. And the tree or bush which produces cobnuts is the hazel. They're a type of hazelnut produced in Kent, and thankfully produced more often. They were on their way towards extinction, but I think they've gained in popularity. Okay, we'll move on to hits. I'll just wet my whistle. Okay, the presenter who took Pick of the Pops from the Light programme onto Radio 1 and kept on appearing on it until near his death was Alan Freeman. Alan Freeman, recognise that voice. Question 2, who presents it today on Radio 2? Paul Gambaccini. In 1971, the Christmas #1 hit, Ernie the Fastest Milkman in the West, was sung, or after a fashion, by Benny Hill. Last year's Christmas #1 was Sausage Rolls by Lad Baby. Sausage Rolls by Lad Baby. Those of you who don't know, apparently Lad Baby is a YouTube phenomenon. He had the Christmas #1 the year before, and all the proceeds from his #1s go towards the Trussell Trust food banks. So that probably helps him to become #1, to be honest. But that's what it was, Sausage Rolls by Lad Baby. The total 18 weeks at #1 in 1953 by Frankie Lane was I Believe. At present, at the top of the album chart is Power Up by AC/DC. The all-time longest continuous stay at #1, 16 consecutive weeks, was Bryan Adams's Everything I Do It For You. Cliff Richard has had 3 Christmas #1s. I Love You, which was with the Shadows in 1960, The Awful Mistletoe and Wine in 1988, and the marginally less awful Saviour's Day in 1990. In total, Elvis Presley spent 80 weeks at the top of the UK singles chart. And the fastest selling single in chart history was Candle in the Wind 1997 by Elton John. And if you don't know the reason why, then you really ought to. So we move on to round 9. And I wonder how many Monty Python fans have been stumped by these questions. Which government ministry was inaugurated by Monty Python in 1970? Of course, it was the Ministry of Silly Walks. Monty Python's full name is Monty Python's Flying Circus. The It man who regularly appeared, the man with the beard who appeared in deserts and all sorts of things in the background, was played by Michael Palin. The Pepperpots, who were the screeching people, were female. The group of people who burst in on the queue, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Spiny Norman's catchword is Dinsdale. Don't expect me to explain why. The Sousa March used as the programme theme was Liberty Bell. Eric Idle wrote Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. It was David Frost's personal address and phone number, which were included in some of the sketches in the first series of Monty Python, and the BBC ended up having to edit them over. And Life of Brian was banned in Aberystwyth until 2009, believe it or not. There were special events arranged in Aberystwyth in 2009 to commemorate the unbanning of Life of Brian. And we're back on to round 10. So we're on trivia. Her Majesty the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh celebrated their 73rd wedding anniversary last week. The Bishop of Derby was Bishop of Stockport before she came to Derby. The Great Western Railway was created by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, the greatest engineering genius of all time. The present Vicar of Chesterfield was ordained a priest in 1983. A record player stylus today is usually made from a diamond. It's usually a diamond, industrial diamond. You can have sapphire. If you have both, I will let you have 2 marks, but sapphires were sold for cheapness, and if you can afford a record player these days, you can afford to put a diamond on it. The predicted National Lottery jackpot for this evening is £9.1 million. Let's hope I've won that. Donald Trump's hair has rapidly become grey. It's been blonde for many years, but it's rapidly become grey. In the Steel City Derby, it is disputed whether Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United have won more games. Of the sources which I could discover, most sources suggested that Sheffield United scraped it. One had 49 to Sheffield United, 48 to Sheffield Wednesday. There was one that had 61 to Sheffield Wednesday and 30-something to Sheffield United, but I think that was probably skewed. Another one had Sheffield Wednesday winning slightly, but most of them had Sheffield United winning slightly. But every single one of them, except for that one rogue one, had the number of wins and draws and losses as being more or less the same on both sides. So it's fairly even. So whatever you answered on that, you can have a point for it. The home of the Irish national rugby team is Lansdowne Road, Dublin. And the school where students pay for lessons with plastic waste is in India, in Assam, in a place called Pamohi. And there, the school, because this place, the children suffer from breathing problems because there's so many people burning plastic, they decided to introduce a plastic recycling scheme. And the school asked children to bring in plastics from home so they could recycle them. The parents didn't cooperate, so the school introduced a fee for the attendance at lessons, which of course got the parents up in arms, and then said they would waive the fee if the children brought plastic in with them. So they get the plastic recycled and the children pay for their lessons with plastic. And the atmosphere is better and the children breathe better and there are fewer respiratory diseases. So that's an interesting story. Okay, those are all the answers. If there are any answers you want me to repeat, please do so now, either by email or on the live chat. If you want to give any feedback, the live chat is still open. I will sit here for a little while and witter or chat with you if you want to chat with me, and before too long I will get fed up of that and then decide to go and have a bath and go to bed. And if anything, if the consumption of very small amount of bourbon the last couple of weeks is anything to go by, I will sleep all night through without even having to get up for the old man's complaint. So we got the Waltons with 38, the Fretwells with 63, Rowena got 42. You've done all right. Audrey, how many of the Monty Python questions did you get? The Balls has got 48, the Wilkinsons and Cavill's got 62, Colin Suzanne got 55. All right. They got 73 wrong. Sorry about that. The Gavans got 94. They revised. I think I think you must have had somebody looking it up, somebody googling it. I think that's a team effort with the 94. But there we are. Any more? Audrey Fretwell got 5 for the Monty Python. Life of Oscar, another great quiz. Thanks for keeping us entertained. You're very welcome. No problem at all. $31, Peppit, Andrew Peppit. It sounded better saying our score that way, yes. Oh well, it's just a bit of fun. I'm glad you all had fun. I had fun writing the quizzes. And like I say, I would really... Stevens has got 52. Pink Panther and Tunnels proved difficult. E-Hop enjoyed it, thank you, E-Hop. Jack, thank you. Hope you're all happy. Like I say, I really think we could do with being able to do this stuff face to face soon, because doing it online is not quite the same. 54 tonight for the Packards. Pauline, did you get the right answer for the Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United? I wonder if they're still there. Baron's got 46. Cranberry sauces. It said cranberry sauce on Dad's Warfarin pack. Oh well, fair enough. Pauline put a draw. Good, well, next Wednesday evening you won't be... Hallam's 49. Next Wednesday evening you won't be locked down, although if we're in tier 2 or tier 3 there won't be very much to go out for. So what's the difference? But I spent a lot of time on these, and I'm going to have to spend, once this lockdown is finished, I'm going to have to spend quite a lot of time on preparation for Christmas. So I'm afraid that's the way it will have to be. But maybe we'll have some special occasion quizzes. John got 50 wrong. You put cranberries 2 bonus point. No bonus points. Christmas quiz. Well, let's see how much clergy don't exactly get a lot of free time prior to Christmas, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what we can actually manage to do at Christmas, because we're still to know whether we can sing as congregations at Christmas, and we're still to know whether the rules on what we can do in church will remain the same. We know we can have services, but who knows whether the rules may change. Anyway, we will find all that out in due course, and I am now going to go and have a bath and eventually go to bed and have a good night's sleep, and I hope you do the same. Thanks very much for joining in, and have a very pleasant evening.